Recently becoming the mother, I found myself confronting an audacious demand from Jessica, the unpleasant individual who had previously taken Michael away from me. Her deceit about a false pregnancy led to our divorce, and although I have tried to move on since then, her presence continues to disrupt my peace. It's still astonishing to consider her my actual sister, given her unchanged nature of stirring up trouble without a care. Now, with John having seen her message, ignoring the situation is no longer an option. Despite my reluctance, I agreed to attend the celebration as suggested by John, who seems to have a plan. John is a warm and kind person, averse to dishonesty, and adept at turning work situations to his advantage. I trust that he has a strategy in mind. Although Jessica may find it amusing for now, she will soon have to face the consequences of her wrongdoings. Naomi, John Johnson. My professional life as an office assistant in a local company has been steady since college graduation. During my college days, I met Michael Smith through our club activities. He was a medical student aiming to follow in his father's footsteps as a renowned allergy specialist. Despite my initial impression of him being a smart and well-off guy due to his family background, getting to know him revealed a unique individual who shared my appreciation for a certain film director's work. Wanting to deepen our connection, I took the initiative and asked him to watch the latest movie by that director together. His surprised response to a woman with an interest in such films led to an enjoyable conversation that marked the beginning of our relationship. I was overjoyed when Michael expressed his happiness about watching the movie together. My efforts have paid off, and he started to see me as someone special. Our relationship extended beyond college, and at the age of 25, Michael proposed. While still in the process of becoming a doctor, I aspired to take over my father's clinic in the future. Michael wanted me, Naomi, to witness it all and asked if I would marry him. Delighted, I accepted, and we looked forward to a happy life together. My world was on cloud nine, especially when I became pregnant shortly after our wedding. Michael's excitement for parenthood was evident, and we eagerly anticipated the arrival of our child. Regardless of the baby's gender, as long as the child was healthy, that was all that mattered to us. However, my joy was short-lived as I battled severe morning sickness. Constant nausea and feeling unwell forced me to resign from my job post-college. At home, I struggled with relentless morning sickness, needing to eat constantly to alleviate the nausea. The aftermath of my daily battles with snacks and pastries filled the space. One day, Michael returned home and found the chaos. "Naomi, what's happened to this place? It's a mess with all these snacks and bread bags," he remarked. Apologetically, I explained, "Sorry, I've been too sick to clean up. It's hard without eating." Concerned, Michael commented, "You're not working, and you've put on so much weight. It's hard without eating. You're like a pig who's given up." His mocking laughter echoed through the room, leaving me hurt and disheartened. Struggling to move during my intense morning sickness, I couldn't fathom how Michael could be so cruel. I questioned the accuracy of my judgment. Perhaps, I thought, once the baby arrived, he would return to his kind self. Clinging to that faint hope, I awaited a change that would soon prove elusive. One day, my sister Jessica paid a visit, finding me in a state of disarray and discomfort. Apologizing for the mess, I hoped she might provide a bit of distraction. "Sorry for the mess," I said, to which Jessica casually responded, "That's fine. I'm used to this place, like a second home." There she was, my sister Jessica, standing before me, a worn-out version, battling morning sickness and feeling awful. Despite her occasional visits, I was too unwell at that moment to properly entertain her. In an attempt to divert my mind, I initiated a conversation, sharing my excitement about the baby, which I believed to be a girl. "I keep thinking about dressing up and going shopping together someday," I told her. However, Jessica's response was unexpected. "Wow, I didn't know you were thinking about things like that. Does Michael know it's going to be a girl?" When I confirmed that I had shared the news with Michael, expressing my dreams of wearing matching outfits with our daughter, Jessica turned around with a meaningful smile. That's right, she said. Michael is still a rookie doctor, but he'll eventually take over the family clinic. Poor Michael, having you as a clinic director's wife. I tried to dismiss her comment, but Jessica's sharp tongue, with its occasional sarcasm, hit hard. Despite being accustomed to it over the years, it could still be quite challenging, especially when I was feeling unwell. But Jessica quickly shifted back to her usual smile and waved her hand. Sorry, I just slipped into my usual mode. So, Naomi, anything bothering you lately? I hesitated before responding. Bothering me. Well, Michael's been coming home late lately. He's a doctor. So it's unavoidable, but he seems to be at the hospital all the time, even on weekends. We hardly have time to talk these days. I see, Jessica remarked. Well, it's no surprise, considering someone like you claims to be a doctor's wife. Her icy smile sent a chill down my spine. Before I could react, Jessica continued. What I came to talk to you about today. As she spoke, Jessica glanced toward the living room door, and just then, entering from the living room was Michael. Michael, did you get off work early from the hospital today? I need to talk to you. Let's get a divorce. Stunned, I couldn't comprehend what Michael was saying. This couldn't be a joke, especially considering our long history together since college and the fact that I was carrying his child. Jessica's words stung as she encouraged. See, your beloved husband is saying this. You should listen to his request and let go quickly. Michael looked at me awkwardly and explained. I can't see you as a woman anymore after you kept eating and gaining weight. But this is morning sickness. I feel sick if I don't eat. Jessica triumphantly looked at me, emphasizing, that's the way it is, and the baby in your belly being a girl won't be the heir to the Smith Clinic. But in my belly, I carry Michael's child, a suitable heir. I'm 3 months pregnant, and it's a boy, according to the tests. Shocked, I felt a sinking feeling as I watched Jessica lovingly stroke her belly. You can't be serious, Michael. What are you doing while I'm going through all this pain? That's why all your excuses, quitting your job and just eating all the time, are unacceptable. I'm tired of watching you lying around constantly eating snacks. I take care of myself, so I don't have morning sickness. Even when pregnant, I won't lose my self-control and eat like a pig, unlike you, Jessica declared with a smug face, while Michael looked down at the floor, guilt-ridden. Feeling at a loss for words, I observed the situation unfold. Jessica continued, expressing her desire for a son as an heir, stating a preference for a beautiful wife like her over a woman who keeps gaining weight without restraint. I couldn't help but respond. Wanting an heir and a beautiful wife is your own selfish desire, isn't it? In response, Michael apologized and mentioned paying alimony to part ways without any fuss. Realizing that things could never go back to how they were, Michael and I divorced. I gave birth to our daughter as a single mother, and the promise of alimony turned out to be just empty words. Post-delivery, I had to work to survive since I had no one to rely on. Unsure of what to do, I took a job at a nearby department store that was hiring. Life took an unpredictable turn, and my hard work and character caught the attention of someone, John Johnson, a well-regarded manager in the external sales department. Through light conversations every time we met, we were drawn to each other and eventually began dating. This led to our remarriage. Naomi, I might be a guy 20 years older than you, but I sincerely want to make you and your daughter happy. Will you marry me? John proposed. Overwhelmed, I asked, Are you sure about me? His response was a sincere, I'd be delighted. Life after remarriage turned out to be truly blissful. With a gentle husband, my daughter and I lived a peaceful life. However, I failed to notice the ominous footsteps creeping closer to our tranquil days. One day, Jen had work, but I was off, and just as I thought of having a leisurely tea, an email arrived. It was from Jessica, and the content was shocking. A baby is born. I'm expecting a $5,000 baby shower gift. A sigh escaped me in front of that curt email. 5 years ago, Jessica had an affair with Michael and snatched him away. Now this, and $5,000 for a baby shower gift seemed too much. I couldn't forget that day, nor could I. Even if I tried, The expressions on Jessica and Michael's faces back then, the way they sought happiness together, ignoring my suffering from morning sickness, was unforgivable. I was at a loss on how to respond to Jessica's email. Then, John returned from work, noticing something was off, and asked with concern, "What's wrong, Naomi? You look pale." "Oh, John, it's a message from my sister. She had a baby, the sister who married your ex-husband, Michael. Yeah, I don't want to see her face or hear from her. Plus, she's asking for a $5,000 baby shower gift." As John listened and looked at my phone, he suddenly said, "Wait, this Jessica Smith name, you know her? I didn't mention her when we got married because I didn't want to remember." "Yeah, I've never been introduced to her by you, but I wonder," I replied. John, pondering while looking at the email, seemed to recall something. "We didn't properly greet her during our wedding, so let's visit her now. Also, I just remembered something I needed to do back at the department store." He then hurriedly prepared to leave, saying, "Going back to the department store now. Sorry, there's something I need to do." A few hours later, John returned with a thick file. "Is it okay if we visit your sister, Jessica, 2 weeks from now on Sunday? We both have the day off, and I'd like her to meet my parents and cousins too." "Your parents and cousins too?" "Jessica loves being the center of attention, so she'll probably be fine," I responded. "But why? I heard your ex-husband, Michael, is famous for allergy treatment. My family has a history of allergies, and I thought we might get some good advice." I remembered hearing from friends that Michael had taken over his father's allergy clinic, and Michael himself had become an allergist. A friend told me, "Okay, I'll contact Jessica." Jessica quickly agreed when I contacted her, saying, "I want to see the baby, and will bring a gift. Can I bring some relatives too? They really want to meet you. Of course, the more guests, the more gifts. Looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks on Sunday," Jessica responded. 2 weeks later, on Sunday, I visited Jessica's house with John, his parents, and relatives, including his cousins, in a quiet residential area. Her stylish house stood next to the clinic, its white walls gleaming. John's parents and relatives were surprised by its luxurious design, excited to meet the renowned allergist. "Welcome. I've been waiting for you," Jessica greeted us with a smile. "Long time no see, Jessica. You look happy," John remarked. Of course. I was worried about my first child's birth, but it all worked out in the end, Jessica replied. I felt something off in her words. "First childbirth? Didn't you say you were pregnant with a boy before?" "Oh, did I not tell you? I miscarried that time. So, this is my first," Jessica explained. John, standing beside me, nodded meaningfully. Seeing John's face, Jessica started to tremble. "Oh, hello. Nice to meet you," she said, addressing John's parents. "You must be Naomi's sister. I heard a bit about the miscarriage." "Yes, but I don't want to remember it," I replied. Jessica turned her face away in a huff and started to walk off, saying, "Sorry about that." "Oh, there's something I wanted to give you, Jessica," John interjected. "What? Something for me?" Jan handed her an envelope, pastel-colored, with the word "Congratulations" written on it, thick enough to be noticeable even from the side. "Here you go. I wanted to give this to Jessica personally." "Got it right." "Just what I've been waiting for," Jessica exclaimed. I glanced at John and whispered to him, "Hey, we aren't rich, and we don't have to give Jessica the $5,000 she asked for." But John, unfazed, cut me off, saying, "It's fine. Trust me. You'll understand if you watch." As we were talking about the envelope, the atmosphere grew tense. Jessica had already started opening it. "I need to check if it's exactly $5,000. With this thickness, it might even be $10,000. The cute envelope was torn open with a ripping sound. However, Jessica's face clouded over the moment she opened it. "What's this?" John stepped forward with a salesperson's smile to explain. "Mrs. Jessica Smith, this is a detailed statement of your purchases at the department store over the past 5 years. You said to put it on my tab, and this is the amount you've accumulated to date." "What are you talking about?" I don't know anything about this, Jessica protested. The statement she held listed names of luxury watches and brand bags, and the five-digit figure in the amount column left me in disbelief. Indeed, Mr. Michael Smith himself and his parents are valued customers with an external sales card contract. However, with such a high amount, we needed to confirm just to be sure. My husband is the famous allergist Michael Smith. As the wife of the clinic's director, using one or two external sales cards is nothing. Is that so? John continued. Also, there's something else I personally wanted to verify. He paused before saying, about 5 years ago, we had complaints about a customer flaunting their external sales card and making extremely unpleasant remarks. Do you know anything about this? What's that? What does it matter? Jessica retorted. John explained. Since we had several complaints, I checked with the staff who were nearby at the time. The content of the conversation was so terrible that the staff remembered it clearly. I glanced sideways at Jessica, seeing her expression harden. John continued. The staff said the conversation was about stealing someone's husband, who happens to be her brother-in-law. Could it be? Yes, that's right. And she bragged about using a fake pregnancy to break them up, laughing loudly. She talked about how she lied about miscarrying like it was some kind of heroic tale. That's when I realized that time, Jessica's claim of being pregnant with a boy, the hair, was all a lie to snatch Michael. Of course, there was no pregnancy, so no morning sickness or changes in her body shape. What are you saying? That story was about me, Jessica exclaimed. Matching the complaints with the external sales card, your name, Jessica Smith, came up. I can't believe this. You are marrying into a doctor's family, becoming the clinic director's wife. I couldn't stand it. I had to do whatever it took to tell Michael that I was the right one for him. I was overwhelmed with disbelief that Michael had fallen for Jessica's scheme, and she had lied to marry him. While I was stunned, the door opened. What's this all about? Explain yourself, Jessica. Since when have you been here? John asked. Jessica replied, from the beginning. I came back to get something I forgot and found the external sales card statement. And now I hear the pregnancy 5 years ago was all a lie. You trapped me, Michael shouted, and Jessica began to laugh. So what? You've got a beautiful wife, and we have a child now, so it's fine, right? Don't joke with me. I can't live with a liar like you. Let's get a divorce. You can't be serious. What about our child? Don't you feel sorry for them? Pushing her away, Michael glared at Jessica with a furious expression. I can't live with a liar and reckless spender like you. It's not good for the child either. We're getting a divorce, and I'm taking custody. Are you kidding me? Do you have any idea what I went through to give birth to this child? This child needs to become a doctor in the future to support us. You're just thinking about yourself. There's no point in talking about this now. Let's handle the rest through a lawyer. The relatives who came along hoping to get some effective medicine from the famous allergist were frozen in shock at this chaotic scene. I was so embarrassed to admit that she was my sister. Afterward, Michael got a good lawyer specializing in divorce and successfully got divorced and won custody. Meanwhile, Jessica, who had been shopping to her heart's content on credit using the external sales card during her marriage, was now being chased for repayments. Hey, if your husband hadn't brought that statement, I'd still be the clinic director's wife. I'm being hounded for repayments now. Help your sister out in a pinch, would you? Why should I? You brought this on yourself, didn't you? And you should pay for your own shopping, I responded. Unexpectedly, I got a message from Michael via social media. Hey, can we start over? If Jessica hadn't lied about having a boy 5 years ago, we would have been fine as a couple. I want to see our daughter too. I had forgotten how he left me suffering with morning sickness and mocked me, then cheated on me. After 5 years of no contact, the last thing I wanted was to see his face again. Michael seemed to be struggling to keep the clinic he inherited from his father running. But you can't stop gossip due to the infidelity rumors. Patients stopped coming to the Smith Clinic, which Michael inherited, and it had a 1-star rating and unbelievable bad reviews on a hospital review site. It seemed only a matter of time before he would have to close the clinic he was so fixated on inheriting. Ironically, he was so obsessed with having a male hair. My husband, daughter, and I continue to live happily as a family. Naomi, are you ready? Shall we head out soon? Yes, I was just remembering how delicious the spaghetti you brought me from that restaurant was back when I was a single mother. Jen used to order from a restaurant for takeout as a way to approach me. Back then, my daughter was small, and since we weren't dating, we never ate at the restaurant, just as colleagues. You had just gotten divorced and were having a hard time, right? I thought even a little bit of delicious food could bring you happiness. It was your kindness that drew me to you, the dish that brought us together back then. It was just my daughter and me eating takeout. But now it's different. I'm happy that we can eat together as a family. Who would have thought that a day like this